Oh. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Okay. Last time I think you were not able to see the so I think we completed this part, work as a path towards liberation, and also the ladder of fall. So this is a very important part of the chapter 2, where Lord Krishna has said that the human beings fall very low, much lower than even other living beings, when they lose their discriminative power. Which means that when an individual, in any person, when he or she does not take care of the mind, obviously, and like Shankaracharya beautifully puts it, like a ball that is thrown from the top of a staircase. Once it starts bouncing from the first step all the way down, you cannot stop it. It will just keep bouncing until it comes all the way to the down. In the same way, human mind, when not taken care at the beginning itself, that is thinking about the object of pleasure, then attachment starts, and after that, the desire to experience that state takes place. Then after that, when deprived, anger and frustration. Then frustration leads to delusion or absence of discrimination. Then failure of memory, then loss of wisdom and understanding, and finally perishes, becomes unfit to be liberated, gets bound completely. So this much we saw in the last session. Now we'll move on to the next one. That is the most beautiful part of second chapter, is the description of a man of perfection. This is considered as the most unique part of Bhagavad-Gita, because this kind of a description is not even found in Upanishads. So clear, so straightforward, and there is what I would say, it's a clear picturization of what realization really means. Because there are many concepts of moksha, many ideas of moksha, going to some Vishnu lok or Shiva lok or some other place, or living carelessly, living indifferently, living without bothered about anything. Or some people go to the extent of doing whatever one feel like doing. A man of realization has got all the freedom to do anything he or she wants, which is not how Krishna looks at it. He makes it very clear that a man of realization is the most responsible person in the society. He becomes a leader of all the people who are striving to attain perfection. So therefore, here we will see signs of wisdom. What are the signs of a person who is a man of wisdom? So I was thinking about that today morning. What is the sign of a person of wisdom? It is like sowing a seed versus building a house. If you sow a seed into the earth, it grows to become a tree, first of all a plant, then slowly grows up to become a tree, and then starts having leaves and fruits and flowers and fruits, etc. It becomes a life. It gives life, it protects people, it gives its entire thing to anyone who comes to it. Whereas in the same place, you can build a building also, where people can go comfortably and live there, but it becomes only for that purpose. There's no other purpose. So a person of wisdom versus a person of scholarliness, that's a difference. A person of wisdom is a lively person. A person like a tree. He not only grows, he also makes everybody around have the maximum benefit out of his presence. Whereas you build a building, no doubt, it's a nice place to stay. Unlike a tree, it's more protected, but then it is only for that purpose. There's nothing else. So what we see is a man of wisdom is one who is so lively, so cheerful, so enthusiastic, so full of life, so full of wanting to do things, so full of love and compassion and forgiveness and accommodation. You feel that you are being so taken care in the presence of a man of wisdom. Whereas a man of scholarliness, he knows, but he only bothers about propagating a knowledge, propagating ideas, propagating his opinions, propagating his understanding. And beyond that, such a person doesn't touch you, does not have the warmth of love, warmth of protection or care. Now you see, how does therefore a man of wisdom is able to gain that maturity? The first one is we have to understand there are characteristic traits and how one can learn from such a man of wisdom and what will be the result of such a practice. So it is said in many places, the characteristics or the virtues of a man of wisdom becomes a practice for one who wants to achieve that. Siddhasya lakshanani sadhagasya sadhanani, it is said. Meaning the lakshana, the character of a siddha, a man of perfection, becomes a sadhagasya, of a person who is seeking sadhanani, becomes practices. Now, see, the first and foremost thing Krishna tells us is a man of wisdom is desireless. This is very difficult for us to comprehend because even Buddha has made this point. Desire is the primary cause of all misery. So, desireless can be achieved from becoming less and less desired. Desireless is a state. Is a state, a character of a man of wisdom. But for a person who is striving to reach that stage, he has to understand that it is not by giving up things one can achieve this state of desirelessness. It is finding a greater goal or finding a greater shelter to abide. Why we are going behind things? Because our vision is so limited. I want this much happiness, and if I get it, I'm so happy about it. Whereas we are not striving to go to an abode of happiness. When a person is able to strive hard to go to that very repository, the house of happiness, then seeking for anything else will be less and less powerful. It won't disturb it. So the result of that is contentment. So what we see is the character trait of a man of wisdom is he is so content. He's so with himself, so full of happiness, is because there is nothing that he feels feeling absent about. Oh, I need that. Then I'll be more happy. Oh, I need that. That will add value to me. That I need this so that people know that I am healthy and wealthy. Also, it's always there is some amount of emptiness which makes an individual feel that I need that. I need this. So, in the case of a man of wisdom, he is so content. The result of his practice is self-abidance. So it's the practice, and the character trait of that person is that he has consciously overcome the demanding mind. The desires are less and less. Therefore, the result that is contentment. This is the first one. Second, second one is that there is no agitation in sorrows. Dukkeshanuddvignamanaha sukeshu bhagataspraha vitaraga vayakrodaha sthidadir muniruchate. That is how Krishna puts it. That is no agitation even in sorrows. No disturbances in the mind even when things are not happening the way one wants. That is because he has vitaraga vayakrodaha. Raga, bhaya and krodha, which means attachment, fear and anger. In fact, all these are all very much connected. See, we are not afraid about something which we are not attached to. In fact, most people who can hurt us are the most people who are very near to us. A stranger cannot hurt us as much as a person who is very close to us can. So, when the attachment is there, there is always a fear of losing that person, or a fear of that person doing something which you don't like, or you fear of you doing something that other person won't like, fear of having a misunderstanding, fear of being hurt by ego, fear of being overpowered by the other person. So many things. Insecurity is there. And that fear always comes out in the form of anger. So we cannot be angry about somebody whom you don't know or something which we are not cared about. So raga creates bhaya, bhaya creates krodha, anger. So this is the practice of that. Therefore, to how to gain that characteristic trait of not having any agitation in sorrow is by overcoming these three: attachment, fear, and anger. So result of that is mind is always free. Mind is not locked up somewhere. Mind is not caught up with something. It is not regretting. It is not reproachful. It is not depressed or dejected, disappointed. It is just free. It is just available. It is just very clean and enthusiastic. It is not feeling disappointed or feeling anguish, hopeless. Because hope is not there, then it's a question of hopelessness. There's nothing to look for, nothing to wait for, nothing to expect for. So there's mind is just like a wind, like just like air that comes inside through the window to a room and then gets out without any disturbance. In the same way, like air moving about inside a open room, how freely it moves about. In the same way, a man of wisdom is one who lives in this world like a breeze. Wherever he goes, he brings great joy. That's what Shankaracharya also says, Vasantavalloha hitam charantaha. Like the season called spring, when it comes, everywhere there is blossoming of flowers and beautiful leaves coming and so much of beauty in the air. In the same way, a man of wisdom moves about in this world. In his presence, there is only joy, there is only happiness, there is only compassion and love expressed by him. Next one is, characteristically, he is detached. Detached in the sense not going away from things, but not getting us disturbed when things are not with oneself. One is able to let go things both physically and psychologically, not getting caught in could have, should have, would have of the past. And also one is not, one doesn't have a hangover of things. Oh, that is not right, that should not have happened. Oh, this is very incorrect. Oh, this is so bad. So the mind is not attached to expectations, attached to things should happen the way one wants it to be. So one is able to let go it freely. And also, when Gurudev used to say, if you have completed a job, then and there you leave it. Do not think about it any further. Just leave as soon as the work is done. So that hangover is not there. So, in other words, such a man of wisdom cannot use Google Hangout because he doesn't hang out. So, why it is? Because he's united with correct knowledge. When the appropriate knowledge is there, correct wisdom is there, such a person cannot have attachment to the lower things, simple things, petty things in the world does not anymore attract him. And the result of that is ability to easily withdraw from any situation. It is like you might have seen a small child. If a child may be crying for something, you give a small candy, it will be so happy. You will not find such a happiness in anybody else. So that child is so happy to get the candy. Until then, it was crying and crying and crying and crying. You give the candy, it's so smiley, full of smile. Because it's just so simple, so innocent. In the same way, the letting go of things is so easy for a man of wisdom, and it is because the practice is that nothing is permanent. Nothing remains next moment in the same condition. Shobhavo idam martyasya loke. Everything is so temporary. So why should I unnecessarily get caught up in thinking about something which is going to change anyway? So it is like, are you attached to a particular weather condition? It rains today, tomorrow it will be sunshine. So let it be so. Because that is the nature of things. Today it rained, enjoy. Tomorrow it's sunshine, enjoy that also. Oh, it has rained yesterday. I wish it is today also. I wish there is a tomorrow also. Why? Even if you wish, it won't happen. It is not according to you. You wish it happens anyway. So it happens, you enjoy. If it is not there, enjoy that also. So that ability to withdraw so easily, that is the result of this detachment. Next important character of a man of wisdom is self-control. He knows exactly when to stop things, whether it is eating or talking or engaging in the world or in any interaction, any kind of perception, any kind of emotions, any kind of thought process. As BMI, engaging in perceiver, as a perceiver, feeler, and thinker with the objects, emotion, and thoughts, this is our world. And in perception, in feeling, in thinking, one can at will stop it. That is because keeping godhood as the goal, keeping moksha as the goal, keeping freedom as the goal. When freedom is your goal, obviously you look for that everywhere. It's like, if a person, you go to a restaurant, out of hunger, you go there to eat. Your goal is to eat, right? You may have friends there, you may have so many other things there, but purpose of sitting in the restaurant is to finish your lunch or dinner. So you finish that, and without that, will you get out of that place? No. I want to eat. I went for that, and I finished that and come out, right? In the same way, a person who is having moksha or liberation or freedom from bondage as the goal of life, not life, but daily life, then he will look for that moksha. He will look for that liberation. He will look for that freedom. He will look for that intense happiness, which is beyond any limits in everything that he does. And therefore, anywhere the world is trying to catch him, he will immediately withdraw. So whether it is a conversation or it is indulgence or in any other sense contact, the result of that is mind is steady. There is a steadfastness in his thinking. There is a steadiness in the thinking. The understanding is so deep. It's like a ship that is there in the middle of the ocean must have to have very good, strong base. Otherwise, it will be thrown out. In the same way, the steadiness in thinking and understanding is there. So, therefore, his self-control cannot be disturbed by anything of the world. Next one is the character of a man of wisdom is peacefulness. He is at peace with himself. He is easily able to remain in complete stillness with himself. Whether it is in a marketplace or in a lonely place, whether he is with the people or without the people, mind is able to just remain collected, composed. And that ability is because there is a strong absence of likes and dislikes. There is no insistency in anything. It does not mean that he is very indifferent, careless. No. Likes and dislikes here means insistence. It has to be this way and no other way. Or I don't like this person. I don't like that person. I don't like this way. I don't like that way. Or I like it to happen in this way only. So you have mentally programmed yourself. Mentally, you have put your own boundaries. Obviously, when you put a boundary and program yourself to look at things in one particular way, anything deviated from that will cause a lot of disturbance. So peacefulness is because ragadvesha viyuktais vushayan indriyes charan atmavashyer vidhi atma prasadam adhigacchati. That is how Krishna says. Even as he moves about in this world without likes and dislikes, the world of objects cannot disturb him anymore because he is already finding is himself free from in his own mental clinging on to things. His mind is liberated already even while living in this world. So such a person, when he looks at other people who are so caught up in their own strong opinions, strong ideas of good and bad and right and wrong and likes and dislike, he will just smile to himself. Why are they creating their own inner boundaries? Why are they creating their own prison inside and living inside that prison? What is the need for one to create boundaries and suffer? It's like a cocoon. It's go on creating its own boundaries and dies within itself. Why? So he always finds that likes and dislikes, strong opinions, strong what do you call notions about things, prejudices, these things really makes one lose one's own peace. Next one is just cheerful and joyful, like a small child or a person who is a young boy or a girl who are just not having any responsibility to do this or that in life. How joyful and happy. Or take yourself in a vacation. Oh, next 5 days I don't have anything to do. How joyful I can be. So that kind of a joy is inherently present in him. It is because he finds that inner joy in the practice of meditation. The meditation, as in that utter aloneness, utter stillness of the mind, one recognizes this joy which people are looking for everywhere in this world is already inherent in them, and only if they can find it within themselves, one can remain always joyful, always happy, without getting disturbed or we seeking something to happen outside. So this practice of meditation helps one to slowly discover their inner joy. And therefore, the result of that is there is no unhappiness about events and people's behavior happening. He said, okay, that's how people are. Okay, according to their own actions, Prakritim yanti bhutani nigrahakim karishyati, as Krishna would say, according to their own prakriti, their own characteristic, everybody will move in their life. What can anybody do? So, unless they take effort to come out of it, they cannot come out of sorrow. As Lord Buddha beautifully said, sorrows in life cannot be avoided. Suffering is optional. So he makes sure that even in spite of sorrows that are there, one can remain content and happy. The next most important thing we find in a man of wisdom is alertness. We have seen in a person like our Gurudev or even Swami Vivekananda and many such masters, they are so alert and mindful about everything. They cannot take anything just granted. They want to make sure that what is being done, what is said, what is written, what is completed is done most appropriately. Not that they get a fixation or anything, They are not the type A character. Not alert does not mean type A personality. No, no, no. It is not that. But when you are doing something, do it rightly. When you are doing or saying something, do it appropriately. Don't be so casual about things. Don't lose the importance of why you are doing. Don't lose the objectivity. Don't lose the goal. Don't lose the focus. Don't lose the intention. It has to be clear. It has to be appropriate. When you are communicating something, make sure the other person understands what you're saying. Don't speak because there's nothing else to do. No, you're speaking with a purpose, making somebody understand something. Do that. And then when that is finished, shut up. Do not go over and over again. Once I remember when Gurudev was being interviewed by somebody somewhere in Asia, and the person who interviewed Gurudev, at least 20, 30 or 40 minutes. And then the last part, sir, I have only one last question for you. They said to Gurudev, one last question, can I ask? I said, yeah, go ahead. He said, what is your final message to the people who are listening to you? Gurudev looked smilingly at that interviewer and said, shut up and get out. So that fellow was shocked. He said, what? I said, shut up and get out. You're telling me? No, I'm telling everybody. In this world, go into that silence, the meditation, go deeply into that, shut your mouth, and go deeply into meditation and get out of the samsara. That's what I mean by shut up and get out. So that alertness is because they are so clear about their object, about why one is doing what one is doing. So constant attention on the reality, constant attention about what is appropriate, what is real, what is truthful, what is true, and that alone needs to be communicated or to be transacted with. So that is the result of that is the alertness is that which creates that instant awareness, constant awareness, I would say. That enlightenment, because of the inherent, brilliance of the consciousness, is always there. We have seen it so vividly in our Gurudev. Whenever he does anything, when he is busy with doing things, you could see the brilliance coming out of him. In his speech, in his writing, in his interaction, in his conversations, in his everything that he does, you can see that powerful presence coming out of it. That inner light you can see through his entire personality coming into expression. So that is the nature of as man of wisdom. Last but not the least is the mind is so still. When required, the mind is such a state of crystalness, crystal still. Let's say that Bhagavan Shiva is also worshipped as a crystal. It is so brilliant, at the same time so calm and still. So that stillness of the mind is, it's alert and pure, clean. There is no ambiguity, there is no doubt, there is no uncertainness. That's the stillness of the mind. Very clear in its understanding, and because in the case of a man of wisdom, he has long practiced in removing personal agenda in any interaction, in any action. There is no selfishness in his approach to things. There is no what is for me. That question never arises in his mind. It is I'm doing everything for the betterment of the people around me. That clarity is there, and therefore the fulfillment of life is the result. Feeling complete, feeling grateful to whatever is given to him or her as an opportunity in this world, and there is nothing more one seeks in this life. Therefore, there is total fulfillment. In the example that Krishna gives is Apuryamanam achala pradishtam samudramapa pravishanti advat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnodi nakama kami. Meaning, like that of the ocean, so many rivers are getting into that ocean, yet the ocean maintains its own height, its own steadiness. In the same way, many thoughts and desires may enter into the mind of a man of wisdom, but he maintains his inner calmness and stillness. because there is nothing personal about it. He accommodates everyone, like the ocean accommodates every kind of water that is pouring in. In the same way, no one to hate, no one to reject, no one uh, to get attached to. The man of wisdom is one who is able to maintain his accommodating mind. I mean, maintain his mind in an accommodating manner. So anybody with any different caste, color, creed, religion, sex, status, able to maintain his relationship with all of them, such a beautiful and brilliant way. So the man of fulfillment is a man of wisdom. Na kama kami is not a man of desire. So he starts with, Bhagavan Krishna starts with the word prajahadi yamaheda kaman in the beginning, and end of it is na kama kami. That's the end part of this entire section. So this is the last part of chapter 2 of Bhagavad-Gita. So we complete this now. Now we are coming to the next chapter, which is chapter 3. It's about Karma Yoga, the path of action. Now, until now, Krishna had talked to Arjuna about how a man of wisdom lives in this world, what are the signs, how important it is to gain the correct knowledge, etc. Now, Arjuna has a doubt. If for liberation, for freedom, for ultimate happiness, what is most important is knowledge, which can be gained through renunciation of all actions and exclusively focusing on gaining the right kind of wisdom. Then, if that is the case, why are you putting me into the world of action? Why are you engaging me in the war? This obvious question is raised in the mind of anybody would have asked the same question, and Arjuna had asked it openly. That if you think that the path of knowledge is that which can take me to the state of liberation, why are you putting me in the world of action, the world of war? So that is the Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana that kim karmani gore mam niyojayasi keshava. Why are you putting me in this action? So that is where Krishna starts with the role or the role of karma, action in the path towards liberation. Now, I have explained to you difference between karma and kriya. I hope you remember. Kriya is any activity is called kriya. Any action is called kriya. Whereas when you say karma, we are referring to work. Work and action, I have told you this difference also. It's just moving hands and legs is action. But moving hands and legs is not work. When you say work, it must have certain parameters attached to it. Work must have a focus. Work must have a goal. Work must have a methodology. Work must have a plan. A plan, a methodology, a goal, and a focus. These are necessary for a work to take place. So when you are, let us say, when I read a joke some time back, somebody was watching through the window outside on a day during the day, and he saw two people working on the road. One person was digging the hole. After some time, the other person was filling up that. Again, if they went some 5 feet away, again the one of them started digging the hole. The second person was filling up. Again, after some time, they went further 10 feet away. Again, one person dug the hole, one person filled it up. So he got very curious, and this is the work at the PWD, what we call Public Work Department. So he said that this is waste of time. Why are they doing this? And they are being paid for doing this. So he went to them and said, "Hey, what are you people doing?" He said, "Why? What's your problem?" He said, "No, I've been seeing you that you have been digging and the other person has been filling. Why? What is going on?" He said, "We are trying to We are supposed to be planting trees, but you are not doing that. Yeah, the third person who is supposed to join us today is on a holiday, is on a vacation or a sick leave, but we do not want to stop working, so we are doing our work. Oh, what stupidity! We are doing our work. What? He's supposed to dig. The second person is supposed to plant the tree, and I am supposed to fill it up. He is not there, therefore he is digging, I am filling. Do you call that as a work? Work is something which you purposely plan to achieve a particular goal. Then only it is work. Otherwise, it is just an action. Anybody can do action. Even an animal could do an action, does an action, but only human being can work. Only an intelligent being can work. Because work includes, as I said, plan. First of all, a plan should be there. Then a methodology to be thought of. And there should be a focus. And there should be a goal to achieve. Now, therefore, Krishna, when he's asked the question, why are you putting me into this world of action when the purpose of life is to liberate oneself from the world of bondage? So Krishna says, Arjuna, you are in the world of activity. Now I have to tell you what is work. Okay. Now you see which is better for liberation, action or knowledge? That is a question Arjuna starts with. Krishna says, both are important, but each one has got a role to play. Without understanding the role of action, the role of the work in this world, action is not the appropriate, but anyway, I put the word action in the word. Word of work has got a particular role to play in the path towards liberation, where knowledge finally helps you. Now let us see how. So Krishna says to Arjuna, you think that by not engaging in action or the work that is allotted to you, you will be able to get liberated. That is wrong. Na karmanam anarambat naishkaryam purusha ashnute. Karmanam anarambat, meaning not by engaging yourself in action, by itself, one cannot be liberated or get free from one's own bondage and sorrows. So many people think not taking responsibility is a freedom. So now we can see many of the youth, they are so afraid of giving commitment to anything, especially when it comes to time to marry. Oh, they postpone it to the extent possible. Why? Commitment nahi chahiye bhai. I don't want to commit myself to anything. So whether it is a workplace or at the personal life, what is most distasteful, I don't want is commitment. I don't want to get caught up in some kind of a dictation. Somebody dictating, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. I don't want to do this. But unfortunately, no success is possible unless you commit. Unless you commit to yourself to a particular role you want to play or action, set of activities you want to accomplish, there is no success possible. Especially for the youth, it is very important to know that unless you dedicate yourself to doing, you will never achieve any kind of accomplishment. So here, Krishna says to Arjuna here, by abstaining from action, you will not be liberated. You will not achieve the highest end of life. You may probably get freed from your commitments right now, but that doesn't mean you will be free of your bondage. For the reason is, for your mind is that which needs to be liberated, not the body. Like for example, at the end of the day, when you have during the night, when you have completed whatever you could complete for the day, then you slowly retire to bed. Now, when you retire to bed, the body is slowly relaxing. and the bodily strain is slowly removed, and you go to a deep sleep. Yes, the body is relaxing and everything is quiet, no work to do, and everything is postponed to tomorrow. All right. So next to 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, or you just sleep. All right. When you get up in the morning, what is that which wakes you up? Do you think the body is waking you up? No, it is the mind. It is the mind that is waking you up again next morning to get you engaged in what is not completed yesterday. Body does not have any commitment to live. Body is only a vehicle for you to carry on your life. So it is the mind which is having its own responsibilities, duties to fulfill, things to complete. That is waking up the body. Get up now. We have to do the work. You see? So therefore, by physically not doing your action, mind is not going to be free from its responsibilities and bondage. For bondage is only in the mind, not in the body. By physically abstaining from your action, you are not going to be free. You see? So continuing, he says, giving up action without knowledge also does not reach you to liberation. Without knowing what is that state of freedom, without having the correct understanding of what is the goal is all about, merely giving up action, thinking that I'm renouncing the world, does not lead you to realization of the truth. Therefore, action needs to be directed towards reaching that state of knowledge. And action will help you quieten the mind, purify the mind, and get ready for the correct knowledge to take place. This is something which, many people have been misunderstanding. Renunciation is just not doing not taking up any responsibility, not leading a family life, going away in isolation, staying away from family, staying away from worldly activities. This is their misunderstanding about renunciation. Gurudev always said to us, when we took Diksha, Gurudev said, your renunciation is more of action. Which is just the opposite of what unusual, normal understanding is. To all of us, he said, you will be doing more work than anybody else in this world. But doing with a renounced mind. The mind is renounced, body is active. On the other way around, body is renounced, mind is active. Think about it. Mind is renounced, body will act. Not the body is renounced, mind is active. So when the mind is renounced, when body is renounced, mind is active, it is called hypocrisy. Merely giving up at the physical level but engaging in the mind is a hypocrite. Krishna very clearly says, Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyartan vimudhatma mityachara sauchate. Mitya achara. Nityachara means one who lives in his own self-created delusion. Where the physically one is withdrawn from all activities, mind is seriously engaged. The best example Gurudev gives is, I'm sure many of you might have heard about this also. One elderly Swami and a young Swami, they were both walking from one village to another. As they were going in the morning, hot sun was there. As they were walking down the countryside, they were walking. Suddenly there was a voice from the nearby small well, small lake, pond, we would say. There was a shrilling voice of a girl, help me, I'm drowning, please help me. So both of them looked at each other. What is the sound coming from? Where is it coming from? So both of them rushed to the side of the or banks of the pond, a river or the pond, a lake maybe. So they looked at it, and then one young girl, she was drowning. She could not swim, and she was right in the middle of the pond. So both of them looked at each other, and the young man, young renunciate or young sannyasi, he gave up his clothes and jumped into the water and swam and went all the way, and then picked up that girl and put her on his shoulders and came back to the shore and put her down and removed the water from her mouth and etc. and made sure that she survived. And she slowly came back to consciousness, very thankful, very grateful to. She saluted both of them and said, "Thank you very much for saving me. I was, I did not know swimming. I got caught up in this, and thank you very much." And she walked away. Then that young man, he picked up his clothes and put on, and then started walking. And then both of them proceeded on towards the next destination. As soon as they reached the next destination, and then there was some satsang and then talk, etc. Then somebody offered food, and they both ate, and then they went to sleep. So when they were retiring, the older gentleman came to the young man and said, "That was not right." So this young man said, "What was not right? Sir, what are you saying? So what you did was not right." He said, "I didn't understand. What do you mean?" "See, that girl who was drowning there, yes. You went and helped her, yes. That was not right." He said, "What is wrong with that?" He said, "You is a renunciate, and you have taken a vow of not touching a woman, and now you have gone all the way to pick her up and put it on your own shoulder, and you came all the way swimming and put her on the ground and remove her water from her body. All that you did, that was not right. You are not supposed to have done that." The young man smiled and told that old sannyasi, he said, "I left her there. You brought her up to here." What does it mean? I left her there, meaning I have finished my work of helping her. In my mind, I renounced and I have walked away from that situation, and I was busy doing my work here. And up to here, we walked, and then we did the satsang and talking to people, advising them, etc. And but you in your mind, you have been thinking about it all the while until now. Who is a real renunciate? The one who left her there, or the one who has been carrying her in his mind? This is what we mean. Physically giving up is not renunciation that anybody can do, even a beggar can do. Even a beggar doesn't renunciate because he doesn't have anything. But a true renunciate is one who has given up his attachment in the mind while physically working so vigorously, so continuously, so dedicatedly, tirelessly. That's what Gurudev said. Mentally renounce, physically get work done. So that's what it says. Conversely, engaging in action and mindfully is the way to excellence. Engaging in action mindfully. Because only a renounced mind from the anxieties of the results can truly mindfully work. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Excellence in work is yoga. So karma yoga is not renouncing the action, not also renouncing the result of action. It is renouncing the attachment to the result of action. Therefore, he tells Arjuna, Krishna says, though I know that knowledge can alone take you to the highest liberation, abidance in the highest self, but then your mind should be prepared for taking up the journey, for which karma yoga, engaging in action, with your mind focused on giving your best in the world of action, That while physically you are engaging in action, mentally renounced about the anxieties, is the way your mind become clean and pure, in which alone the right knowledge will take place, eventually taking you to the abode of the self. So therefore, it says do action as a sacrifice. This is the way nature functions as well. Even if you look at the nature around you, it is also functioning in the form of a great sacrifice. Gurudev used to say, the Sunday is not a holiday for the sun. We all have holidays on Sundays, but not for the sun. We all have holidays on one day or the other, but not for the moon, not for the wind, not for the water, not for the fire. The nature never takes rest, continuously engages in action. No Sundays, no holidays, every day working. Why? Because work has become its second nature. It's a signature of life. Work continues. You tell me, when does your body take a vacation? Don't you eat every day? Don't you breathe every moment? Don't your blood circulation goes on and on and on and on? Does it take rest ever at any time? Even when you're sleeping, it is working. Is breathing has got any rest? Your digestion got any rest? Your movement of blood circulation within your body, is there any rest? Growing of the body, is there any rest? Nature restlessly, not restlessly in a negative connotation, restlessly when without taking and continuously working, that is called sacrifice, dedicated work, continuously engaging in. So the chapter 3 is so beautiful because Krishna is showing us the path from where we are right now. We are in the world of action and we have to be led from where we are. See, it's like then when you are taking a car and going to some place, the GPS should show from where you are starting to where you want to go, not from somewhere else. The first question it will ask is, where are you now? And then only it will tell you, okay, this is where you want to go. From where you are to where you want to go is the path. In the same way, we are in the world of action. From there only we have to start our journey. And therefore, he tells Arjuna, hey, listen, you are in the world of action. I want to give you guidance from there. Now, the secret of sacrifice. The secret of sacrifice is called yajna in Sanskrit. Sacrifice is called yajna. And the concept of yajna is doing action, keeping the larger section of people in mind as the beneficiary of your action. That is called yajna. Any yajna performed is for a greater purpose and larger number of people to benefit out of that action. That is why it is called sacrifice itself. And as I have given this example to you before also, you take a morsel of food from in your hand and put it in your mouth, even though only the food is taken to the mouth, but actually the food that is taken in is meant for the entire body. Every part of the body is going to be energized by the food that you are taking. It is not for only to the ears, only to the nose, only to the eyes. No. It is for the entire body, is it not? Even though it is just taken by the mouth, but it is meant for the entire body's well-being. In the same way, every action should be thought of to be done and completed for the benefit of the maximum number of people. Then only it is called yajna. And that is how the nature works. See, worship the power of nature and its resources. Mutually, you help each other. Does the sun shine for only certain set of people and not for others? When you say nature, it doesn't have idea that only to you and not for that person. Only to this kind of people and not for the other kind of people. Only this section of people, this caste, color, creed, jealous. None of these kind of a a segmentation is available for nature. The tree does not give its fruits only for certain people. No. So the nature around us is teaching us that life should be lived in such a way that you are helpful to everybody in this world, no matter who that person is. So he gives a beautiful analogy of how to imitate nature, how to understand the attitude of sacrifice from the nature around us. So it's very interesting to note that Krishna had thought about environmental appreciation of the environment, appreciation of natural surroundings, appreciation of natural resources, how important it is for our sustained living, how important it is for us to conserve water and all other resources, so that it is not only we enjoy the resources presently, and we have to make sure that the future also enjoys the same prosperity. We are not supposed to destroy anything that is given to us by the Lord, given to us by the nature. We are supposed to enhance it, increase it, make it more useful to the posterity. We'll see more of it in the next session. Okay. So any questions anybody has? So we covered the Siddhaprajna Lakshanas, and not all of them, but I put in a tabular form, in a concise form for you to understand, and also the introduction to the concept of Karma Yoga.
Swamiji, in that tabular data that
increase your volume. 1 minute. Let me see here. Let me. Okay, go ahead.
Swamiji, the last characteristic of a man of wisdom, which was alertness, the way to achieve that was by having constant attention on reality. So I have two questions here. One is how to maintain that thing, which is constant attention of reality. And the second question was, alertness was about things outside or in the world, and the ways to achieve it was constant attention on reality. So I wasn't sure how both of them come together. So the first question was how to do it, and second is how do these.
So the character, I said the alertness, and then way to achieve is constant attention on reality. Okay. The question by you is what?
The first question is, Swamiji, how to maintain a constant attention on reality.
So see, what is most important, that's why if you look at the way Upanishad would teach us to have a constant attention is, Kena Upanishad says, Pradibodha viditam madam amrudatvam hi vindade atmana vindade viryam vidyata vindade amrutam. In that, the first quarter is very important. Pradibodha viditam. Bodham bodham padi yat viditam tadeva atma. Meaning that which is available in every thought of yours. Pradibodha. In every thought, there is a subject matter, there is a subject called I, which is inherently present, because of which alone every thought is passing through your mind. Every thought is known. So every thought that arises, there is always the subjective awareness there. In that presence of the subjective awareness alone, the objectification of anything will take place. For example, if I have to hear you, I need to have my ears open. You may say, but if my ears are not in a receptive mood, obviously what you say would not be heard by me. Okay, so that is one thing. Now my ears may be open, but my mind is not there. If your mind is not there, then also I won't hear you. Okay. Mind is there and ears are there, you are talking, also there. Okay. Then I am not conscious. So consciousness is not flowing through the mind, and mind is not flowing through the ears. The ear is not therefore not able to listen. So if you go backtracking, what you find is the awareness or consciousness must be present in every action and experience that you want to experience, right? So if one recognizes it is through consciousness or the constant presence of that alone everything happens, that is what is called constant attention. It becomes so natural for a man of wisdom, whereas for us we do not pay attention to that. We get carried away by the unwanted details or extrovertedness, but not able to maintain the alertness about the presence of consciousness. So therefore, alertness here means being aware. And also, the practice is keeping that in mind. So that's what I mean by that statement there. And so the resultant that of is that it's an enlightenment, because one who does not lose attention on that reality. So that's the reason why it is considered as, yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Anybody else has question? Okay. So then we'll conclude. So I think next week, again, I am on travel, so you can continue with your study group thing, and I will send you the slides for which we covered this class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.